against pharmaceuticals. I'm against over the counters. Even as a teenager, I didn't like taking Tylenol and Midol and all these things. Where I started growing up and I was like, let me hit a joint. I feel better. My headache goes away. I can sleep better. As a woman, I don't get cramps. Like, it's all these different things, and it's the natural way. I'm big on like, why can't we have microdosing mushrooms? Why can't I smoke a joint before doing a test or going somewhere and making it calm my nerves? Where people are quick to be like, oh, just pop an Adderall, pop this, pop that. And it's like, you don't understand the chemical imbalances there.
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah, right.
It's pretty obvious why that's the case. At least you could probably speak to this because there has been legalization efforts made in California. But we all know that this is where the convergence of progressives and libertarians come together very strongly. We do not want the government involved in the decisions that we make for ourselves. In addition to that, the government wants monopolization because that's what big industry wants. I saw that there was a bill that they tried to pass in Ohio a number of years ago, but it would have basically limited it to, I think, like 10 companies in the entire state that would have been able to distribute cannabis. And so to me, that's just an example of if home grow is not included, then it's a shit bill and you do not pass it. But we all know why that's the case, because, again, it's the same reason why big alcohol and big pharma have such a stronghold on Capitol Hill. They spend countless amounts of money at the federal and state level to ensure that we don't have the ability to make these decisions for ourselves. If you're smoking cannabis, chances are you're not popping pills, you're not drinking alcohol, you're not in the hospital, you are not dependent on a multitude of other for-profit industries that if you were doing these other things, you would be. If you're on cannabis, chances are you're a lot less stressed, you're probably a lot more happy. You're not allowed to be happy in this world.
Yeah. And I have a military background. So coming out of the military as a military veteran, you go through out processing and you go through the medical, and it's so quick to be, they want to prescribe us with PTSD and they want to give us all these downers and they want to pump us with all these pills. And it's like, no wonder why we have issues. You guys just keep pushing these things down our throat. Where I met a few entrepreneurs out there that were doing like small business retreats for veterans. One gentleman has a nonprofit where he sells things, but he helps from the profits. He helps veterans get their free medical card. And that is such a benefit because it's still a stigma in the military. I mean, not for nothing. You get, when I was in the military, you get drug tested for THC and you're booted. You're a bad soldier. You're out of here. When most of my NCOs were either alcoholics or they were pumped up on some sort of medication, and they were the ones stepping out of line, like getting in trouble. And I was like a good soldier and like, I just want to smoke a joint. And I get drug tested and they're like, no, this is terrible. You need to go. And it's like, now you can get a pass for it. So things are definitely changing, but it is scary to think of the government getting involved, big pharma getting involved. Cause like you mentioned earlier, Delta 8, what is that really? And even going to the medical dispensaries, I'm like, you don't know where that comes from.
Elise, do you know it?
Who's growing that?
Do you know what is, will you explain it? Do you have the explanation? What is Delta 8?
I do. And I mean, it's perfect for Alexi Au Natural, because why you want to stay away from Delta 8 or THCO or any of these synthetics is because that's what they are. They're synthetics. Yep. And we like to stick to whole plant medicine and, as true to the plant as possible. And what Delta 8 is that gets it through this loophole is they take hemp CBD isolate and use some sort of chemical process. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And from what I hear,
CRC and
that are great for clean, and convert it to Delta 8, which will then give you somewhat psychoactive effects. But it's not tested. It's not regulated. And I just stay away from all of the synthetics is my general rule. I know that's a bummer for people who want to feel the effects of cannabis, but I would just, I don't know if I can get in trouble for saying this, but find the traditional market, find the home grower, find the hobbyist, and get your medicine through that way. And like in a collective model, if you can, or just anything really is better than I think taking a synthetic from a smoke shop. I gotta say.
Right.
There was a synthetic years ago that was going around when I was in the military, because something like that. When I was in the military, it was going around a lot because you were able to smoke it. But the risk was like, you went crazy. I had like 2 battle buddies of mine that would smoke it regular because they were smokers.
Spice.
There you go. Spice.
Yeah.
And they literally had to be Baker acted because it like twigged them a little bit and they like went wild. And I'm like, let me just pick from my plant in my backyard because that sounds scary to me. That sounds scary to me.
Yeah, I'm always, and you know, for me, even with product, that's why I'm just a flower girl. Like that is it. Like, I don't need you to process it in any way. You know what I mean? Just let it dry nicely, clip it, whatever. Like, I don't need any other stuff mixed with it.
Well, and that's why for Hashinista, celebration of cannabis and fashion, but specifically hash, and hash being the solventless concentrate. And I'm very passionate about that because what solventless hash is, live rosin, is, you know, it's just the flower fresh frozen at peak time at harvest, and then made into ice water hash, and then that ice water hash pressed into rosin using minimal heat and pressure, and then that beautiful golden substance cures in about 55 degrees or fridge if, for cold cure for a different amount of time. And it's a beautiful expression of the plant. It, you know, has cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and it's not needed, or in my opinion, the people who enjoy solventless, it's not about getting high, right, or getting so blasted off of it. It's about enjoying that flavor and that experience. And it's a true connoisseur product, even though I hate to use the word product. I think it's more like, again, still a medicine, but it's a really beautiful way to experience the plant, and that highly recommend that.
How do I get that?
I hear Florida does have a pretty good traditional market, so I would just find the live rosin producers in the area. Look for my fellow Hashinistas, I guess.
It's not as easy to come by as you would think. You know what I mean? And all the products here, like, is like anything that you easily find is Delta 8 for sure.
Yeah. I can connect you to somebody. I think there's like a kind of an underground scene there, because I heard there was a cool party there, Terp Basel, last year. And that was kind of one of my partners out here, the Terp Hogs. And they do amazing genetics, flower and hash collabs. So
it's still very hard. A lot of our events are underground for that reason. You have to know someone that knows someone to know, or to be involved, because it's that middle gray area where it's like, we can promote it and we can be involved in it, but it's still very like, I've been to a few events that have been shut down. I've in the middle of everyone just kind of hanging out, and the police are like, all right, y'all got to get up out of here. Like, this isn't happening here, you know? So it's still very,
Wasn't Psychedelic Wilds like that? Everything was going on that trade.
Oh, it was crazy.
I was like blown away. I was literally right across from a full-blown dab bar. I mean, that I saw. I mean, it seemed like there was everything there. But
there was
typical Florida experience here.
No, but I think technically, if somebody were to ask, it was it was all the version of what's okay. Right. But the reality is that from a prosecutorial level, nobody gives a shit and nobody's prosecuting that here anymore. Right. Like, we have certain, state attorneys have flat out said, they don't care anymore.
That's right.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.